classical period was the formation of large world civilizations during the years 1000 to 500 BCE.
Yes, it was.
The classical period.
Quiet, Caroline. Okay, so China was one of the major civilizations during the classical period. There were 3 major Chinese dynasties, the
Zhou, the Qin, and the Han.
Zhou, Qin, and Han, but close enough.
What? Why don't you say that to my face?
Okay, so the Zhou dynasty was one of the longer but weaker dynasties of China. One of the tactics that the Chinese used for keeping their rule was the mandate of heaven. This is where the emperors justified their rule by saying it was blessed by the heavens.
And Confucius, the major Chinese philosopher who invented philosophy that many Chinese governments used to rule.
Yes,
And in the Qin dynasty,
Qin.
Qin Hai Swagdi built the Great Whale of China.
No. Shi Huangdi built the Great Wall of China.
Crack? Is that what you're smoking? Anyway, during the building of the Great Wall, forced labor was used to construct it over a very long period of time. The Great Wall extended over 3,000 miles. Fun fact, whenever the laborers died due to overworking, overheating, or dehydration, they would just throw them into the wall and use them as a human brick.
How was that fun?
You built a wall of human bodies to my heart.
I'm sorry? Anyways, eventually the peasants got sick of this and overthrew the Qin dynasty, creating the Han dynasty. The Han dynasty lasted over 400 years. It also laid the basis for Chinese intellectual and political life. And finally, it expanded Chinese territory.
And Taoism.
Taoism!
Taoism?
No, Taoism.
Taoism!
Taoism?
Taoism. It's the same thing?
Yeah, Caroline, it's the same thing.
So Confucianism was popular with the government because it encouraged strong leadership and respect to leaders, which obviously was appealing to the people in power.
Encouraged respect.
And harmony, but not as much as Taoism, which appealed to the upper classes, but not as much to the government.
Don't forget about legalism, which encouraged restraint and discipline.
Legalism was another system of political thought and encouraged strict rules. Moving on to India.
Indian food.
Get out.
After the fall of the Harappa Papa, India rose around 1500 BCE.
The Aryans were the first to inhabit India.
Aryans.
After that, there was the Mauryan dynasty. The goal of the Indian ruler at the time was to unify most of the subcontinent.
The Gupta Dynasty took place after the fall of the Mauryan dynasty.
It's time for Leela to sit down and read the secret message.
Is this supposed to be the open letter?
No. This is completely unrelated, so don't sue us.
Yeah, just read it.
All it says is Buddhism, but it's spelled wrong. Buddha work, Buddha work, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha work.
What about Hinduism?
Yeah, Buddhism and Hinduism were both in India at the time, but Hinduism was the major religion. Buddhism spread away from India and was mostly popular in China. Now, moving on to the caste system.
I think it's pronounced the Caste System.
The caste system was used to divide different classes of people. It was especially strict in India. And I think that's all for India. What's next?
The Mediterranean and the Middle East.
One of the most important aspects of the Mediterranean and the Middle East was the existence of the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire ran across northern Middle East and into northwestern India. It was successor to the Mesopotamian states, but a lot bigger. The Persian Empire established traditions and made headway in the development of iron during its time.
Of course, Jesus was there too.
And the Roman Empire. Greece and Rome saw a fair amount of development during this time period as well.
Greece and Rome both formed city-states, which are important things and are mentioned in a lot during the AP World History party time. Eventually, the Roman Republic was formed, and some big-time names were involved, like Caesar Salad.
Have you ever noticed that history is basically Europe occasionally being jerks?
Also, several new government forms were created during this time, such as polis,
The direct democracy,
the Senate,
the councils,
Etica.
Etc.?
philosophy, art, togas, all big parts of Greek history.
How does this serve me as a person?
The question is, how can I serve others?
In a light cream sauce.
Did somebody say grape? Anyway, philosophers like Socrates, Aristotle, poets like Sappho, and astronomers like Ptolemy,
Ptolemy.
and geometrists like
Sophocles.
and writers like Homer.
Oh, you
all
pronounced that
had
one right.
all had a great impact on not only the Greek world in which they lived, but today their influence can be seen in each of his original fields and on a greater scale as well.
Thanks, yo.
Well, I think that's all we have for now. See you next time on This Is Definitely Not Crash Course.
Stay classy, San Diego.